Are you okay? Did you get scratched? Unbelievable. God bless you. You know why? Because you're telling the story. Yeah. Because you're putting it out there. Because they don't want, that is their, I'm just telling you right now, that is their way of a warning. If that is you, would you please shut that door? Are you okay?
Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to Do You Believe on Paranormal Zone TV. For all of you that are new to the show, if you would please subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. And I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. And you know what? We got an awesome show scheduled for tonight. And my guest, I'm so excited to have her, is DeAnna Simpson. Now, DeAnna and her husband, Tom, they own a haunted house in Hanover, Pennsylvania. And I'm sure you've heard all the hype about her house. She's been on the news. She's also been featured on The Haunted and on The Dead Files. So, everyone, let's welcome DeAnna to the show. Welcome, DeAnna.
Oh, thank you, Noreen. Thank you, everybody. It's such a privilege. It's so nice to meet you, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. Okay, now, DeAnna, we're dying to find out the story. I want to know it all. So let's start with, when did you buy the house?
Noreen, we bought this house approximately 8 years ago.
Ooh.
Now, about 8 years ago, and let me just clarify that Tom and I, we were both divorced, new relationship, new beginnings, starting a new life. We were in love, and we were out looking for homes. This home, we were tipped off by one of Tom's, and a girl that works with Tom in the store said, "You've got to see this house across the street. It's being, flipped, and it would be perfect for you, Indiana." So as soon as we pulled up, I loved everything. I had an instant attraction for this house. My husband did not.
Oh.
When I saw the house, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Tom, I can't wait to get inside to see this old home." And he's like, "Well, this will be a quick walkthrough because I'm not living in town. It's got a one-car garage. The yard's too small, but we're here, so let's go look at it." But Noreen, from the moment that I walked inside, I'm from Kentucky. It reminded me of a childhood home that I'd had growing up with my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying, "Tom, oh my gosh, this is the same tile that my parents have. Oh my gosh, Tom, look at this archway. This looks like, and I instantly fell in love with it.
I also heard you mention that you thought that the house chose you.
Noreen, the house did choose me. It did. I couldn't let it go. The moment that I saw it, we did our walkthrough. We thanked the gentleman very much for showing us his home. As soon as we get in the car, I'm like, "Tom, make a bid. Please, honey, let's make a bid." And he was like, "No." And I was obsessed about it. Like that next day, as soon as I got off work, I drove by it again. They were working on side the house,
Uh-huh.
The people that bought it to flip it. I asked to re-walk through it. I just couldn't stop. I begged my husband, "Please, let's just look at it again." I couldn't let it go. That's all I did. I came in the house, started taking all these pictures because I wanted to show the inside of the house to my mom and dad, because I said, "You can't believe this, Dad. This is a house we used to live in. Doesn't it look like when we lived on Struble?"
Oh.
But Noreen, when I took these pictures, I saw like all of these, what they call orbs or dark shadow, and I looked at them like, But then when I showed my husband, "Isn't this weird?" And he said, "No, DeAnna, it's an empty house with hardwood floors. That's dust. There's no curtains in the window. That's not a big deal." And I went, "Oh, okay. I guess you're right." Because we had been looking at houses for about 6 months. Well, long story short, I just wouldn't let it go. I had to have this house. We didn't have the money to get it. Like I said, we were going through we had just been through a divorce and everything. So Tom's like, we need to keep looking. It's not what I want. And we did look at other houses, but I just kept coming back to this, coming back. And like I said, we didn't have the money to put down on it, so I asked my dad. So I had all of these factors that would not let me let this house go.
And, now, when you did the walkthrough, I imagine that's what you did. You didn't feel anything in the house?
You know what? I actually did. It reminded me, like I said, it was like lilacs and home senses, because like I said, I miss my home so bad, which is Kentucky. And when it presented itself as a home that I used to live in with fond memories as a child, I was just had these elated feelings that my husband was like, no, I'm not feeling the same thing you're feeling. I kept saying, isn't this wonderful? Isn't this exciting? No, he wasn't feeling it. It was just me. Yeah.
So then you moved into the house. And when did the activity start?
Well, actually, the activity started when Tom and I, we bought the house, and we went to a lawyer's office and signed the dotted line. And I said, Tom, I got to do a walkthrough one more time. I want to take pictures of all the bedrooms so I can decide where we're going to put our furniture and so forth. And we have this beautiful old breezeway that's attached onto this house. And as you know, a breezeway is an entrance from the garage into your home. I shut the door and I locked it, and I stood back and I took a picture at the breezeway. There's a kitchen door that leads into the house, and when I took a picture of just the door, which has got like 6 windows in it, as soon as I took that picture, we went back to the apartment. I started sending them to Walmart, and I said, oh my God, Tom, look at this picture. And he says, what? There was a man's face. It was just a face, no body, looking from the inside of the kitchen through that breezeway door. Right then. Yeah. It happened that fast.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Yep. And it just escalated from there. Actually, I think one of the things that started it, Noreen, that was very, very scary is we bought the house in February. And we had like an Indian summer weekend. I was outside raking the yard. We live on a corner lot. And out of nowhere, this little old lady, and I mean this little lady, bless her heart, she was so old and elderly. She was like a shell. She was kind of humped over. She had a scarf on. She had a blue sweater on. And she had this dog, which appeared to be as old as her. And I remember raking the yard. I looked up, and there she was. Like, how did I miss her? And she looked at me, and she says, oh, are you the new owner? And I said, yeah, my name is DeAnna Simpson. It's nice to meet you. What's your name? Well, she didn't offer her name. She just looked at me and she says, well, I hope you're able to give that house some love. It needs it. It needs a fresh start. And I said, I'm sorry. She goes, well, yeah, you know, the boy that was murdered in the basement. And I went, excuse me? And I said, give me 1 second, please. And I put the rake down. I leant over to put the rake down to take off my gloves because I wanted to approach her, and she was gone. She was no longer there.
Oh my God! Did you? So did you ask any of your neighbors, and did you give them a description of this little old lady if they may have seen her before?
Yes, I did. Initially, yes, I looked around, found it to be like very disturbing. I went across the street to Shirley and asked her about this old lady and who she could be. And she says, Dan, I have I've only lived here 30 years. Why don't you go next door and talk to Linda? And I said, Linda, is there an older woman? And I described her to a T. And she was like, well, Deanna, that's Millie. Millie, and she said the last name. She says, well, it sounds like you're describing Millie, but it couldn't have been because she passed some time ago. And I went, what? She goes, oh, yeah, she lived right over here across the street. She used to cut the original owner's hair. She was the neighborhood hairdresser.
Wow. Wow.
And I went, oh, my God. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, how long had this house been vacant before you purchased it?
Actually, the house, the home has only been owned by two previous owners. Mm-hmm. The family that built the house lived here 30 years. And then the second owners, they lived here about 30 years. So it wasn't maybe a year that the house was, and then it went up for auction.
Oh, I see. So what did you find out about the previous owners? And you say there was only two owners before you purchased it?
Only two owners.
Only two.
Mm-hmm.
When was this house built?
Actually,
when was the house built?
The house was built like 45 approximation to 45 to 49. And it's real hard. It was real hard for me to find the information about the house because that was during the time I was explained by the township that you can put your own house number on there. I didn't realize that. This is a small town. It's an old neighborhood, and back then it was hard to count the numbers because you could just make up your own house address. So the more I researched it, I found a woman who knew about the house, and she actually warned me. She worked in the library, and she says, why do you need all this information? I said, I got to look up the previous owners because I'm having a lot of activity. And she said, if you know what's good for you, you'll stop. She says, I'm warning you. The family of the descendants are still alive, and you need to walk away and let this go. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you listened to her.
Yeah, exactly. That fueled me more. I was like, really? Okay,
yeah.
Well.
So what can you tell us about the two previous owners?
Well, I can tell you without, I'm not allowed to say their names, but I was told, now I cannot prove, but I cannot disprove what I did find out by going into the library and mm-hmm. going to York County records and searching everything I can. Now, remember, being an outsider coming in, people don't take that too well, but I did find out that the man who had owned the house originally had an affair and spawned off a child that maybe had, Down syndrome. And the mistress and the child left the town. They came back. And she said, I can't handle him anymore. The little boy was about 14 to 17, we were told. Mm-hmm. And he was living here. We were also told, like I said, we cannot prove or disprove, but I did have about 50 people send me emails with their names that I have documented. They said the boy mishandled a firearm, blew his head off, but coincidentally the same day, the uncle happened to be in the basement, and he blew his head off too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so not only, and then we found out from locals, we had a lot of unknown, we want to name our name. They would leave us a letter on the doorstep, and they said what happened. That boy was being molested. It's something that's not talked about. The uncle was molesting the boy. I remember my parents talking about this. And like I said, we got a lot of letters poured in saying that the boy was tormented. We also found out that the boy was acting out in he was killing animals. So there was animal killing here. So there was incest, rape, murder. And we found out that we were told by locals that when it was a farm and there was a burn barrel in the back, that poor boy, he was taking animals and throwing them in the burn barrel to torture them. Because he, in turn, was being tortured. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh my
so
God.
We were told that...
and listen to another interview that you had done, and you also mentioned about rapes in the house and incest and 3 kids drowning. Who did that?
Oh, well, let me just... what had happened is the second owner, once again, when we were doing research on the house and getting nowhere, people would start to tell us information, but once they would say, well, wait a minute, where do you live? And I would give them the address and tell them, they would stop talking to me. But I did find out, like I said, to protect myself, I cannot prove, but I cannot disprove, because actual accounts of locals were telling me that the second owner was just like the first male owner, abusive, arrogant, alcoholic, countless reports of the being called on the police because of his outrage, had a heavy hand to his children, and to the wife, and that the wife had left several times because there were speculations of incest. I mean, my God. Oh, it just really upsets me, brings me to tears, because I have 3 children. I have 3 daughters myself, and I can't imagine that. Oh, my God.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty horrible.
Awful. And I did find out, too, that the little girl that lived here, she was an only girl. She was the only child. The second family that lived here. Mm-hmm. And she partook in the Ouija board playing.
Oh,
because it was a... Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that... oh, my God.
Yep. Because that was a game. That was a game.
Yeah.
This little girl never had sleepovers, never had parties here, never nothing. The families were, we were told that they were hoarders, and because of the situation of the dysfunctional family, she would always go to other people. But the child, other people's house to spend the night, sleep over. But to entertain herself, she played the Ouija board. Yeah, just horrific. And Steve, like I said, on the Dead Files, he found out about the Lydia Small situation. He had it documented about that woman who had 12 children who lived on this property, and 6 of them died, and 4 of them died of drowning. Now, Noreen, we found out after the show.
Yeah.
Now, think about this. 4 children accidentally drowning. Like one child at 2 fell into a well. One child went into the stream. And then the other child went to help that child, so now there's 2. Mm-hmm. So now we have 3 dead children. Mm-hmm. Now the mother was supposedly walking by the stream with her other child, picking blackberries. Now, coincidentally, this child fell into the stream and died.
Mm. You have a stream by you? You have a stream by you?
Well, what happened, hon, is... no wonder why our house is so haunted and cannot be, like, it just won't die, is because that stream is an underground stream, which happens to run underneath our house.
So how did she have access to the stream?
Well, at one time, it was a natural spring stream.
Oh.
It was a natural spring.
Oh.
Yep. And then, after she lost 4 children to drowning, falling into a well, she said one little boy just happened to have a mystery illness and died of a fever. And then shortly after, her husband died in a farming accident. Now, after the show aired, we were contacted, which I can't say their names, but we were contacted by the descendants of this family. And they said that there was no coincidence, that she had mental illness and she killed those children. And that would make sense, because how could you lose 4 children? You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And so she was never brought up to any charges. They just took it as an accident?
No.
Wow.
Yes, because, back in the late or middle 1800s, you presented as that. Nobody's around you. You just say, oh my God, I'm so distraught, my child accidentally. But now, come on, I'm telling you right now, after being a mother myself, if I were to lose a child to a drowning, that would be the last one. You're not going to let your children wander off.
So, before your house was built, then she was on that land. Was there another house on that? Was there another house on that property?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
Steve dated it back to 1600. Actually, there's been a cemetery on this lot as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
a cemetery?
Not only.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So we've had murders, rape, incest, Ouija board playing. We have a natural stream underneath, which we have a fire hydrant on the corner lot, because we have so much water underneath our home, being the natural spring, that it feeds the other homes, for their water supply.
Uh-huh.
We've had our soil tested. We have a high content of limestone. And we have a couple of power line electrical boxes outside the home.
Holy cow. You know what? So let's get into the hauntings now. What are you experiencing in the home? How did this first start?
It very first started, Noreen, when after we moved in. Now, we were just like everybody else, Tom and I were so in love and we're happy. We just bought our first home. We're just ecstatic. I'm buying paint, and we're just, it's just wonderful. But very shortly after moving in, as we were sleeping upstairs in the bedroom, the attic is actually made into a bedroom. So we sleep in the attic, which is a loft, the length and width of the house. I kept having dreams of 2 men appearing in my dream. They weren't talking. They were just staring at me. And I would wake up and tell Tom, well, this is weird. Well, I'm having reoccurring, repeated dreams. The men, I could describe them to a T, what they looked at. And then one night, I felt my hair being touched, and I felt something on my shoulder. And I turned around, and I thought it was Tom. And when I saw that he was asleep, I rolled back over, and I opened up my eyes. And the 2 men that had been in my dream kept visiting me. They were standing beside my bed. And as I looked at them, I just froze. I was trying to hit Tom, but I didn't want to roll over. I was like itching my eyes looking, and then they had like white eyes, a white glow coming out of their mouth. They didn't move their mouth, but they were saying, "Get out, get out."
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Now, DeAnna, did
awful.
one of them gave you a name?
Yes. Mhm.
What was that name? I checked that name out. What was the name?
Well, the one. Well, it's not like a pet name. The one that I know when he's always here is he'll say, "You are mine. You are my girl. You are mine. I will never let you go. You are mine." And we've caught this on several EVPs. Numerous people have been over and had ill effects, and that's when Amy confirmed the mastema is, now I understand. Mastema, he's a whole different issue. He has several layers of haunting here.
Do you know what mastema is?
You know what, Noreen? What happened is I didn't know what that is. We had a gentleman out to the house, okay, and he did a deliverance for us. And at the end of this deliverance, because we just could not take this anymore, as he did a deliverance, and this wonderful person was here for 6 hours, and he had his buddy with him taking pictures and doing audio. At the end of the deliverance, my back just started burning. They raised my shirt up, and I had 3 large gashes in my back with the letter M carved in my back.
Now I have a picture of is that your scratches from the back of, like, toward the back? I have a picture of 3 deep gashes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that I've had multiple times. But when this gentleman was here to do a deliverance, at the end of that deliverance is when, after he was here 6 hours, God bless him, doing his word of God, I got these 3 scratches and the letter M in my back.
Well, do you... Go ahead.
And then that night now, after that, Noreen, when I got those 3 scratches, we were all standing in the kitchen. He started praying over me, and with that came this loud, and Noreen, when I say loud, I'm not talking about, did you hear something? I mean, it is very clear. It just came through the walls. All of a sudden, it started with a loud baby cry. Mm-hmm. Then it became a witch's laughter, and then followed through with a man, like panther-like growl. Mm. And we get everything of 3s in here. We have 3 finger marks, 3s, everything like babies, witches, like cackling. And with that, when I went to bed that night, and that's what happened with my story, when I went to bed that night, I had Satan at the edge of my bed. I was dreaming. I was in the cemetery, and I was seeing the headstones of the previous residents that lived here, and other deceased headstones from people who were murdered on this property.
Were you able to see the names on those headstones?
Oh yeah. My husband went with me. We were on a vicious hunt. Oh yeah. And I mean, when you have something happening to you that's real, it's not a dream. It's actually happening. And when I was in the cemetery, I was walking around, and it was snowing. I was reading all the headstones, and 5 clothed monks came up to me. They were all levitated. And then this huge black figure shot up from the ground, had this dark cloak on. You could smell him in your dream. You could hear his voice. I just kept praying, asking for God to make him go away. Mm-hmm. I just remember feeling pinned down in my bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. It was so horrific. And when I opened my eyes, once again, Noreen, he was standing right there. He was he had a cloak on. He had a hat. He was 7 foot tall. He came up to the ceiling, and he arched over me. He totally encompassed the wall and came up, and you could smell him. He was sulfuric, like rotted eggs, mm-hmm. like rotten mm-hmm. potato smell. Yeah. And he looked at me and he said, "Your Yahweh can't help you now. My name is Mastema."
Right. And
your God, yeah. That's it. And he said, "Your God has given me permission to roam the earth with 10 others. You are mine."
Oh my God! And have you? I looked up Mastema when I saw that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's an angel who persecutes evil in Jewish mythology, and he tempts humans and tests their faith.
Yes.
That is so. Oh my.
It was horrific.
Oh
horrific.
My God. I guess so.
Now, it was awful.
Oh, now, what goes on in the basement? I know you guys are afraid to go into the basement. Is that where your TV room is?
Well, I can tell you. Let me just tell you this, dear. There's different the haunting here is like a pie. The basement has a certain layering. The first floor has its own haunting, and then the attic upstairs. The basement is where the Shadow Man lived. We have a portal. We have a portal downstairs. When you go down the steps and you turn to the right, you pass the washer and dryer in our laundry room. And this is where he lives. And we got a picture of it. We actually had a paranormal group over that captured the portal. It looks like the drawbridge.
Oh my
of
God.
Steps. It's a steps. It's a stairway step, like you would see on Indiana Jones, like with the rope.
Yeah.
And the step. And there was the Shadow Man opening the door, and you can see that he's 7 foot tall. You can see his red glowing eyes, and he opened the door, and the steps flew out, and you can see black images and figures coming out. Now there's an angel by this portal, and Amy Allen told me that was my father, that he was here to protect me, which gives me unbelievable comfort. But yes, the Shadow Man has been captured by a deer camera, by the Gettysburg Ghost Scouts, Pamela Spicknell.
Yeah, I just showed it to the viewers.
Yes. Actually, her husband David said, "Hey, let's do this. Do you mind if we set up a deer camera in the basement? Let it run for a weekend. Let's just see what happens." Let me tell you what, as soon as he put that camera up, we all went upstairs. He had that image captured going through the walls. I mean, within 5 minutes. There's no hesitation in this house. It's very aggressive. Very.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what else goes on in the basement? Because I know you guys were afraid to go down there.
Oh, we have a beautiful finish. Like I said, Noreen, with everything that was going on here, I was like, okay, I'm going to possess the house. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to make it mine. I mean, we've had a Reiki healer, an Indian, a pastor, a preacher, a medium. I mean, we had a shaman. Like, I just said, I'm going to love it with God. I got, crosses, flowers, Bibles. I tried to possess it, to claim it, to let these people go. But no, in the basement, you can't go down there. These images, we have a headless man. Or I should say, a man's head wolf. We have captured
on
film. Yeah. We also have a woman who's decapitated, and it's just her head that we got on film. The Gettysburg Ghost Scouts put their green beam up, and they captured like a big, huge black cloak coming through the green beam. But with that, I mean, you hear the growls and the hisses, and I will kill you. I mean, I'm telling you, Noreen, I want the viewers to understand, because they've told me, why are you still there? Well, we've been to the bank. We could do a short sale. We can file bankruptcy. We can, with the short sale, you ruin your credit, but you have to pay back so much of a percentage of the house. I mean, we could file bankruptcy, but oh my God, I'm 53, my husband's 57. it's just like, what are we going to do, you know? We've worked so hard all of our lives and overcame everything. I can't believe that a GD freaking nightmare is like this haunting that's going here. It's going to destroy our lives. And it's trying very hard.
Now you hear, where do you hear the boy, you hear a boy crying,
oh my
and you
God.
hear, tell us about
awful.
that. Yeah, tell us.
It's awful. Downstairs, when they were remodeling our basement and they were creating a family room, putting up drywall, you know, hardwood floors, the workers were hearing crying of a child and walking around, and they started hearing the cackling and the growling, and the lights would turn off on them. It would get so cold that they could see their breath. I mean, they were coming down with floodlights, and yes, you hear all of those things. You smell blood. We've seen blood. I've got captures of footprints.
Yeah, I have that.
That are bloody. Mm-hmm. We hear a man and a woman that we have on the audio screaming through the walls. You can hear them. It's in the back of the corner of the family room. The woman will just scream, "Just don't stand there. Go get help. Go get help," she says. Well, the first time we heard her, well, we did fly out. We thought somebody living in the neighborhood, we thought maybe somebody was in an accident. Tom took the front door and I took the back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it just toys with you. It doesn't stop. We came back in the house. We turned our lights on, but the lights wouldn't turn on. You can take your flashlight on and go downstairs, and then as soon as you hit the basement, the lights will return back on.
Now, what about this other image? I have another image of footprints that were burnt into the wood. What's that?
Noreen, what had happened is, like I said, we have a church right across the street. And we called the pastor at that time. Her name was Debbie. And I called her, and I met her, and I just poured my heart out to her, cried profusely, and said, "You've got to help us." Let me just assure you that Tom and I have never had this experience in our entire life. Well, she says, "I'll come over to your house and I'll cleanse it, but I'm not coming without my deacons." So we made a date. She came over. She brought over 6 deacons. As soon as she walked through that front door, she only made it to the family room. We all held hands. We all had prayers. She started getting ill. She's like, "I feel a little nauseous." She started sweating. You could see the sweat coming down the side of her head. I was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm fine." We had prayer, and I said, "Let me take you through each part of the house. Let me explain to you what's happening." And she says, "No, the house is, we had prayer, let's go." She started to panic. And I said, "Oh my God, Debbie, please don't leave. No, you've got to help us." She looked at her deacons and she says, "No, I need to go." She went back to the front door. She was only in the house maybe 7 to 10 minutes. As she was holding the door handle, she says, "You got to keep your faith and continue to pray, and you're going to be okay." But I got to go. But as she was standing there, we started smelling something burning. We kept looking around, but we didn't see any smoke, but we could smell the burn.
Oh my
Now
God.
here's the clincher. It was winter, and we opened the front door, and Tom's like, "Well, it had to be a fireplace." So she left. And when she left, we didn't think anything of it. We shut the door. We locked it. We went to bed. We didn't go to bed with comfort because she left too fast. That next morning, when I went to go get the mail, I said, "Oh my God, Tom, it was her boot print. She had a boot on." And as she stood there and said, "I gotta go, you're fine, just pray," and it was her boot print literally burning underneath. That's her boot print.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the horrible thing about it is after Debbie left, About a month later, she had a church function where they had like a little fair.
Uh-huh.
She was in a freak accident, and she fell off a ride. She, in turn, that same footprint, the left foot, she broke her Achilles heel. As soon as she was healed from her injuries, she left the church that she was there for 15 years, never told anybody she was leaving, and left.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Wow. Now, there was another incident, and this is when Channel 43 Fox News came out to your house, and I had showed them a little video on that. Let me show you guys this little video one more time. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on.
Are you okay? Did you get scratched? Unbelievable. God bless you. You know why? Because you're telling the story. Yeah. Because you're putting it out there. Because they don't want, that is their, I'm just telling you right now, that is their way of a warning. If that is you, would you please shut that door? Are you okay?
Okay, so explain to the viewers what happened.
Okay. When Katie and Chris, now we can just, I'll jump back to another story, but Katie and Chris came upstairs, and I said, let me show you the bedroom, and she says, what happens here? And I said, well, we were told by locals that the first family who owned this house kept their schizophrenic sister upstairs. I said, and that is where she passed. And she passed on a mattress and no air conditioning, and there was a lock on the bolt door downstairs leading up to the bedroom. I said, we see her, we can smell her, we hear her chanting, and this is where the children are of Lydia Small. We've seen Lydia, we hear the children, we've seen them, and as Katie started walking around, she says, so where was your image? Where did you see the first dead child? Where were you? And I said, I was standing right over here. And then Noreen, I got to have you come over sometime, honey. The door is always open to you.
Oh, thank you. Can I bring my friend? Yes. Can I bring my friend Dave Spinks? He's a paranormal investigator. He would love to come to your house.
Yes, I have talked to David. I said, oh my God, honey, you just let things calm down. You're welcome to come out too.
Oh, yes, awesome.
He's a wonderful, wonderful person.
Oh yeah, he's my best friend, and he's in the chat room. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person. Like I said, I talked to him on the phone. We had a great conversation. And what had happened though is I said, oh my God. I looked at Katie, and Chris was filming. Now, Chris was already upset because he's already been scratched. He went out on the front porch, thought he was going to pass out. I thought he was going to throw up. Katie's already been pinched. She's been scratched, also slapped. And they've just had it. They've had it at this point, like, oh my God. Well, what had happened, I was explaining to her, and I said, oh my God, Katie, I'm talking about it. They're here. She goes, what do you mean they're here? I said, I've lived here long enough. I know who's coming. I said, look at my arm. Look at my goosebumps. I said, before you know it, you're going to start to smell fecal. It's going to become urine. Oh, my God, Katie, they're here. And I started panicking. I started to cry. And she goes, where? What are you talking about? I don't see nothing. And then that orb came right up the steps, which, contrary to belief, we didn't have the heat on or the air condition. So there was no air current flow coming up and down the steps. And as soon as it came up, this arm, this black arm, shot right out of the wall and tried to grab me. Because we get that. We've got so many captures like that where it'll shoot out and just try to scratch you constantly. And that's what they captured. I was holding my cell phone in my hand. I was not filming. My cell phone happened to be by the side of my leg when I said, "Oh my God, Katie, they're here." That's why you see the floor. And if you actually, Noreen, watch that video and really pay attention to it, a hand will shoot out. It's trying to grab my leg. Then if you look at the top corner and freeze it, another hand shoots out. That doesn't touch me. And then the whole arm is like out to get us. It just shoots across. It just flies across.
You know, I was watching that video and I tried to capture it, and it just went so fast. It just went by too fast for me. I'm showing a picture of the steps, but it just went really fast. Now, what about these other? I have some pictures of the steps that you have with. It looks like smoke.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are.
Okay. It's awful. Noreen, like Amy said on the Death Files, as soon as she went to go up the steps, she said, "I feel this presence that says, 'Oh no, you are not coming up here.'" Now, we live in this house, but definitely we don't own this house. And what had happened, we don't own it, meaning they live here. This is their 7 gates of hell. We exist here, but they live here. I went to go upstairs to my own bedroom to go get a shower, to wash my face, get ready for bed. And these presences just come upon you like I had made it up about 3 steps, and it started to feel real thick. You could visibly see the atmosphere, the air. It looks like a fog.
So you saw this with your own. You saw this with your own eyes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
It didn't start off like that, Noreen. It did not. It took a while to build up. Once it was like, "Where's Waldo?" Once it knew, and that's what Amy told me. Once it knew that I knew, once they know you can sense them and they got your attention, it just gets stronger and stronger. And yes, I observe my cats. I watch how they flight, how they take a panic flight, or they'll start looking around. And because I made it up the 3rd step, now mind you, I was thrown down those steps and had a fracture of my tailbone. Now I'm much more gingerly. When I feel a presence, I back the hell down. And that's what happened. I started seeing this mist.
Unbelievable. Now, when the Dead Files were there, and when the Haunted was there, did anything happen?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Now let me just clarify that, Noreen.
Okay.
That we had it 8 years ago. Well, I'm sorry, about 7.5 years ago. When we were tipped off by this paranormal group, and, I was telling the girls at work how horrific it is. Let me tell you, 8 years ago, when you go to work and you look like death in the morning and you got enough CoverGirl on to cover up your face.
Yeah.
Because you're
I know.
There's not enough Visine to get these eyes white. You do not sleep in this house. Oh, my God. So we had this group come over. And this group captured, they were overwhelmed because, let's be honest, in paranormal groups' defense, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, we got ghosts." Well, maybe they're explained, but when they walked in here, they were just like, "We're all, easy come, easy go." They captured so much stuff that, let me just say that when we very first moved here, I had a beautiful female calico cat in the house. I
know. I don't like that story.
Oh my God!
I know.
That's just,
go ahead and tell the viewers, though. I've heard that story. I don't like it.
No. And you know what? It goes back to the boy. It goes back to that poor boy that, in my heart, I truly believe that he was raped. He was molested by the uncle who blew his head off. Oh my God, Noreen! And when we brought Skittles into the house. Oh my God, Noreen, when you very first move into a house and your cat gets sick, well, okay, well, so you take it to the vet, and that's what I did.
Right.
And then she started declining and not eating and drinking, and then she was crawling around like she was like a little army kitty, like she was crawling, she was growling, she was crying. She was losing chunks of hair. She had gashes. I thought they were little toenails. I thought she was scratching herself. No, because when I got my 2 other cats down the road, they started getting the same tendencies. But when this happens to your cat, you know, Noreen, you don't go, oh, because my house is haunted. No, I took it to the vet. The vet said, well, she's older, she's in a new house, a new husband, you took her out of her environment. And I said, but she's 14. Oh, she'll be fine. We'll put her on Prozac.
Oh,
no.
my God.
It was awful. Oh, my God, Noreen. I had no idea. If I'd known that. It's so bad. I never would have known that in a million years going into this that it would take her life, and she was being tortured until
oh my God,
we started seeing it. My daughter lived with us. My daughter at the time was 24, and when we very first bought the house, she moved in with us, and in order to get over the loss of my beloved cat, I bought 2 more. I bought 2 beautiful Siamese.
Yeah.
And shortly after, that's when it started happening to them too.
Oh my God.
And that's when I was on my rampage to find out what the F was going on here. Like, this is not happening. Like, I just got this really strong attitude, like, you are not. But let me tell you, Noreen, when you're dealing with dark forces, demonic presence, no, you just can't win. And I know, and I'll get back to the story, about upstairs, but I mean, Amy said, if we don't get this resolved, if we don't get this cleared, they will follow.
How many times has this house been attempted to be cleared?
4 times.
And Bill Bean,
at least four times.
Now,
Five.
Bill Bean has also come out there. What happened?
Well, he was the gentleman who did the deliverance.
Right.
He was the man that I was telling you came out and did the deliverance, and at the end of the deliverance is when I got my 3 major scratches on my back with the letter M carved in it, and as soon as he left, it showed me, your Yahweh cannot help you now, and that was the dream and everything like that. And we got a lot of pictures of Bill on the outside of the house with a red glowing orb following him everywhere.
God.
And I said, Bill, what are all of these? There's negative and positive signs that were all around him. And he said, DeAnna, the only time I've ever seen this was at another location that was demonic, and your house is the other one that I've seen.
How did he feel when he left your house after doing a cleansing or a deliverance?
Well, he was exhausted. We all went and ate dinner with him, and let me just tell you, Bill is a wonderful. We love Bill, and I mean, I cannot say enough about Bill Bean. I mean, I can personally say that. My husband and I both feel the same way. We went and did dinner, and this is the problem with this house. When people come in and they do something in a positive, love and light way, well, yeah, the energy feels better. But Amy said all they're doing is they're stepping back. They're going back to their graves. They're going back to their coffins. They're going back to hell. And they're just waiting for it to chill. They enjoy the evil's enjoying, like, we're going to make you feel better. Oh, isn't this wonderful? Now I'm back. Here I come. And when they do, they come back.
Did
I'm stronger.
Now, has Bill does Bill feel that he should come out to the house again, or there's nothing more that he can do?
No, Bill definitely feels like he can come. He needs to come out again. Oh no, Bill has offered his services, and I mean, initially when I was calling Bill, he told me, don't speak of it, don't playgate it, don't think it in your heart. I want you to pray every day with your husband. You start your morning with this. You have your lunch with this prayer. You do this at supper time and at bedtime. And you show it. Well, Noreen, I'm sorry. This is not your normal haunting. We did everything we were supposed to. It kept for the first 2 weeks, and that's what it does. First 2 weeks, it was great. Then, all of a sudden, all of these birds started wiping out into our house. We got these dead birds around the house just blowing into our walls. I came home from work one day, and there was chunks of black hair leading to the hallway where that bloody footprint is. It's right above the portal on the first floor. All of these things, and I said, oh my God, Tom, oh my God, it's back. It's, oh my God. And I remember, sending Bill a message, and he was just like, honey, anytime you want me to come back, I'm there for you. But I'm telling you, Noreen, this is bigger than us. We just can't do it anymore. I want the next cleansing. I don't want to be in the house. I don't want to live here. We can't do it anymore. I want to be out. Mm-hmm.
Now, after these 4 cleansings on your house, did things get worse?
Initially, they were better, and then it came back tenfold. Oh, yeah. It just empowered these things. It empowered the portal. Everything. It was like, the only way I can describe it is like I was doing everything in my power because I think it was leading me to that, like, yeah, go ahead. Why don't you call somebody? Because I was getting pissy. Like, I'd grab the Bible and scream through the house and say, my faith in God, you cannot destroy me. You can go back to hell, and I'm going to get somebody in here, and I'm going to show you, I would get angered, and then I would bring somebody in, and I would back them up. My husband would be here. We'd, sage, salt, do everything. And it was like a manhole. It would put a cover on it, and then before you know it, it just blew that manhole off, and it was just like, oh, what do you got now? And it would be stronger.
Now, what about that portal that's in the basement?
My God.
Has anybody been able to close that?
Well, see, that's where we're comforted by. Somebody has said, yes, we've closed your... Remember Amy's advice? We followed Amy's advice. We had the strong male witch come out. And he was supposed to last 3 days and 3 nights. He lasted 4 hours.
DeAnna, all of a sudden your voice became muffled. Did you,
oh, that's weird. Okay, is it okay now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
So the portal is closed.
Portal's open.
No, it's open.
The portal's open. No, the portal's open.
Well, as long as
nobody's been able to close this portal. We have, that's why this house is like a demonic fun house for whoever would like to just come and go as they please. You never know who's in here. There's been times my husband and I, it's been so bad that we have left the house and we had to go to a local hotel that they know us by name, and all we have to do is call them, and if they have a room available, that's where we go.
So, my God. What's the next?
Yeah, no.
Now, there are some other hauntings that I'd like the viewers to know about before. Now, what about the mirror? What goes on with you see a little girl in the mirror?
Oh my gosh, Noreen, that's upstairs in the bedroom. That's where I hear the children. That's where we got EVPs, where the woman, when you start to come upstairs, she'll say, shh, hide the children, they're coming. Like as if she has them captured. She won't release them no matter what. I don't understand this whole paranormal stuff. I don't understand why things cannot be healed, but I was in the bathroom, and I was washing my face, just getting ready for bed, you know? And as I was drying off my face, I noticed a huge temperature fluctuation. I just started getting so scared, like that thrill that you get when you're about to get in a car accident and you just barely missed them by an inch and you feel that thing in your throat.
Mm-hmm.
You get that feeling.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all the goosebumps just came up, and I thought I was going to throw up. It was so intense. And I was drying off my face. I looked in the mirror. And oh my God, Noreen, this little girl, it's so horrible. This little girl, in my vision, I looked in the mirror, and over my right shoulder, she was levitated, and she just looked at me, and she couldn't speak. Her face was bashed in. She had all these cuts and scrapes, and she was bleeding profusely. It was all over her little tea-stained like dress, blood everywhere. Her hair was wet. It was short. It was wavy. She was soaked. And she just looked at me as if she had something to say, and I just remember, just looking at her in the mirror in disbelief. And when I turned around to see her, she was gone, and I swear, I thought I was going to pass out. I just remember falling, like, on my knees, and just weeping and begging God, make it stop, make it stop. The only thing I can think of, Noreen, is that I was chosen, and I'm here for a reason, and I just think that there's too many stories that need to be cleared. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I think this house can't heal until maybe some things can be proven, but nothing can be proven. It's proven, but like the newspaper articles, drowning of a child, this child that we saw was about 2 years old, and that's why when Steve started reading us the articles downstairs, I just went hysterically into crying because he's proving to us through articles what happened for everything I told him. And she's not the only child. We've seen other children. We've seen the dead children that were in the stream, and that's why I'm like, oh my God, were you murdered? It's just horrific.
Now, the family that lived in the house before you, are they still alive?
The man also died in the front bedroom. So two different families, two different owners actually died in that front room, in the front bedroom. This man was not a good man at all. We were told by locals, because this is something you can't find in the newspaper, but we were told by locals about how he used to rule with an iron fist, had a heavy drinking problem.
But is the wife still alive?
I called the wife. And I can't say where she lives right now, but I did call the wife. And she just said, I declined to talk about anything. And I said, well, I believe that the house has numerous hauntings, but I believe that your ex-husband happens to be here as well.
What'd she say?
And, well, she just kind of laughed at first. And she's like, well, I'll be damned. She says, all I got to say about that is I've had a life of hell, and it, son of a bitch, looks like he's continuing that. Like, she wasn't very positive about it at all. And I begged to talk to her about, if anything, and she was just like, no, I don't want any part of that. And She says, I'm living my life now, and I'm happy, and I want it to stay that way.
But,
I don't want to...
I mean, it would be so nice if she would tell you if they had paranormal activity when they were living in the house as well.
I know. I can tell you this.
Yeah.
The people that bought the house off of the auction, okay, now remember, the house was up for auction.
Uh-huh.
I had no idea. We had no idea what we were getting into, you know. Residents own the home. They passed this and that. Went up for auction. The family that bought the house did have extreme paranormal episodes that, of course, they didn't share. They were strong Catholics. My husband's Catholic, but I mean, they were strong Catholics, and when the wife started talking about weird things, the daughter-in-law, the sons, the father was like, I'll have no talk of this, and I'll knock it off. You know, what's wrong with you? It's just an old house. You know, we're tearing up carpets. Of course you're going to hear this. Of course the door's going to open. Maybe there's a draft. Like, knock it off, you know? And you do dismiss these things, you know? You do. Logically, I understand that. But after we lived in the house, I did contact this woman back that we bought the house from.
Mm-hmm.
And she said if my husband knew I was talking to you, he would not be happy.
Well, too bad. You need to know.
Too
bad, lady.
Exactly.
Tell me.
But, you know, I think it's kind of like, now think about it in this term, because this is how my husband explained it to me, which makes sense. Deanna, why would they spill their guts? Why would they want to tell you that while they were renovating, they totally flipped this house? I mean, they ripped off the roof. They had to build walls. They tore out all the toilets, the cabinets, the sinks. I mean, they totally gutted it. It was just a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom's like, well, of course they're not going to tell you what they experienced, Deanna. They're afraid you're going to sue them.
Well,
make them liable
the
and try
thing
to
is,
get out of the house.
No, the thing is, you can't sue them. That you bought the house on a.
I know.
You can't sue them. I mean,
know.
they're free and
can't.
clear. But how come they lost the house?
Well, no, honey, they bought the house for an investment. They had all intentions of flipping it. This was their business.
Uh-huh.
They went around, bought old homes, flipped them, sell them, make a profit. That was what they did.
Oh, but I thought you bought this on an auction or a foreclosure.
Well, this house went up for an auction. This couple bought this house, and as they were gutting it and flipping it, and that's when a woman named Shirley, who happened to work with my husband in his store, said, so-and-so bought this house, they're gutting it out.
Okay, so they didn't live in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't live in
Mm-hmm.
it. Okay, so they bought it, but they didn't live in it. Flipping.
They didn't live in it, but they worked 12 hours a day in this house to get it fixed up, and they knew this house. They knew what was happening.
Oh my! And they wouldn't talk about it.
Not initially, and then, like I was telling you earlier that the first paranormal group that came over to our home, they are the ones that submitted our footage to the Animal Planet, because the Animal Planet was doing a show based on the effects of animals in haunted situations. They submitted our story, and the Animal Planet called us and said, I heard that, you live in a haunted home, and we want to know what's happened to your animals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we got on the show. But after this woman who had flipped the house saw us on the Animal Planet, let's just say that I happened to run into her in town, and we talked for a very long time. And I swore to her that it would be between us. So, and she said a lot of things.
Wow. Are you still getting these dreams at night?
Oh my gosh, Noreen, we're still getting the scratches. Tom and I are constantly sick. We wake up with bruises, with scratches. I woke up with so many bruises and scratches and bite marks. I go to my doctor. I used to go to my doctor and go, oh my God, something's wrong. I have leukemia. I have pancreatitis. Something is wrong. Oh my God, please. And they would do blood work and I'm fine. My husband would double over with chest pains and we thought he was having a heart attack. As soon as we leave the house, he's fine. But the second owner, he died of a massive heart attack in the front room. We can't even sleep in that room. We've made it into a junk room. So we're symptomatically of the things that have happened or continue. Because when we get them, I don't even go to the doctors anymore. I'm like, I know what this is.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next for you guys? What's happening?
Oh, we went out. We went out really bad. We told Katie, we said, hey, now I'm still in close contact with Amy and Steve, and I can't say enough about them. And Amy continuously talks to me through email. I'm telling you what, the show's awesome. They'll do everything or anything it will take to help us. Because, Noreen, who's going to want to buy this house? Think about it. It's not fit for a family. It's not fit for animal owners. It's definitely not fit for children.
I don't know about your state. If in your state, when you sell a house, if you have to declare all of that.
We do. We have a realtor. His name's Bill.
Uh-huh.
We have a realtor. We've been looking at homes. And let me tell you this. We have a security system in our home. Every time we've looked at a home or went with him or even the house is following us because when we go to look at homes,
yeah,
there's a barrier. The key's not in the drop box. All of a sudden, our securities went off. All of a sudden, we're being called by our security system.
Oh my
God!
Oh my God!
Horrible.
So, what do you think would happen if you just say you sold your house and you moved? Did you say that? Did you ask Amy about that? What would happen if you did leave that house?
Yeah, unfortunately, Amy did say, and we know because we've been to Cashtown Inn. Tom and I have left the house, went to Cashtown to get away, and our security system will go off always in that 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hour.
Oh my God!
And our security system will call us. We got it all documented. The police department, it's all documented. When we leave, they'll say, "Oh, you have an intruder in your house," and we'll say, "Where?" They'll say in the basement, and we'll say, "Is any windows, opened, or is the front door beat down?" And they'll say no, and they'll catch it on videos because we have cameras.
Yeah.
So we tell them, don't even dispatch the police because we know what it is.
Oh my God! Have you been capturing more images with these cameras? You have.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't released them because they're not on the web.
No, because
I loved
it. For you, girlfriend. Because you know why? I started releasing so much stuff.
Yeah.
That we were getting some criticism because they'd be like, "Why aren't you on? Why aren't you this?" Okay, well, why don't you finish paying off our mortgage so we can get out? And no, it's real easy for somebody to say, "Well, I'd be out of there because my family's first."
Yeah,
no,
it is easy. Yes. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is easy for people to say. But if they're in that situation, come on. I totally understand what you're saying. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what else can you do?
Our security system has went off so many times that the gentleman who installed it has been out numerous times to remove the monitors, to reposition them. We have a lithium battery in all of the unit downstairs that he's constantly having to replace, and they should have a 5-year warranty. If you come in my home, we've had people whose cameras have been broken, their cell phones have died. I mean, those are just simple things compared to. And Noreen, let me tell you, I went to a Phenomenon here in Gettysburg 2 or 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the privilege of meeting Chip Coffey. Privilege. Oh, he's a wonderful man. Mm-hmm. And when I met him, and I was talking to him, he was like, he held my hand, closed his eyes, and he just looked at me and he says, I feel like you're the sixth case that I've ever known. He says, some things can't be resolved. He goes, do you know what I'm saying? He says, I feel like you should burn that place down, leave it vacant, and never allow anybody to build on that house again. And that's what he told me. He looked at me and just told me flat out blank. Now, Amy did say, if you leave and you don't get this resolved and send this man back to hell where he believes,
Yeah.
she said, they will follow you.
Oh my God.
So,
but who's going to help you? Who's going to do this for you?
I know. I mean, now the witch
Yeah.
that the Travel Channel got,
Yeah.
let me tell you, he was a wonderful man. He was very nice, very forthcoming, very gung-ho. Amy said we had to have a very strong witch, very passionate. Sometimes I think he might have been a little too strong because he said, I'm not staying 3 days, 3 nights because I could have this done in 4 hours. Well, by the time 4 hours ended, our alarms, Tom and I left the house as instructed. Our alarm system went off as he was cleansing the house. The basement went off, the bathroom went off, the attic went off.
Oh my
Before
God.
we could even get to the house, we had 2 police cars, two fire trucks, and an ambulance.
Oh my God. When Amy and Steve were there, did she do drawings?
Oh yeah.
What did she pick up?
What she picked up is she told me that one gentleman oh God, scratch that from the record. The Mastema, the one I was telling you about, the devil.
Yeah.
She said, oh my God, Deanna, he wants you dead. And he's not going to stop. It's a cat and mouse game. He's got all the time in the world. He enjoys the hunt. He doesn't want this quick. He wants to torture you, she said, and he wants you dead. And she drew the picture of how I see him a lot of times. She said, you're leaving your bed and you're going to room to room to room to find comfort. You think and you're running, but you're not. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to fall asleep so he can torture you in your dreams. It's not a dream.
Oh my
You're
God.
living it. Oh, it's awful.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we got to do something because my husband and I, we fight constantly about this place.
Oh.
It's a constant turmoil. It's awful. But the moment, Noreen, that we leave, and I mean we leave, it just, I mean, it feels like the doors of heaven have opened up. We can be ourselves. We can temporarily run. It's like Amy said, though. It's like a cat and mouse game. Like he gives you a little leeway. Oh, you think you're okay, but I'm right here. Like it's torture.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we got to do something because right now we're at a point where we are actively looking for homes, and we have said, "F it, I'm going to take this chance." I'd like to pay off the house. I don't want to sell it right now immediately. I just want it to sit. I need to, with the help of Amy, I need to decide what we're going to do. It needs to be cleared before, anything else. I don't know if that can be done.
Well, you ought to invite Zach Bagans over. Maybe he'll buy your house.
Oh my God!
He loves that kind of stuff.
I I know. And you know what was weird? That's funny that you mentioned that because I've got a lot of wonderful people that I've met due to this experience. And this one woman, her name's Rhonda, she sent me a link. And Zach Bagans had a public announcement like that they have been renewed for another 2 years for their travel channel,
really?
for their show.
Really?
And he's like, that he was on Twitter, and he said, our series have been renewed for 2 more years.
Wow.
Just want to ask everybody, hey, who needs us? Any new cases? Is there anything you can recommend that, people that need our help?
Yeah.
And my girlfriend Rhonda, she sends it right to my timeline, and she's like, Deanna, call Zach, he'll buy your freaking house. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, sell it to him. I'd love to see you get out of there. I feel so bad for you, Deanna. Yes. It must be horrible. Are you afraid to sleep at night? Are you afraid to sleep in your house at night?
Oh my gosh. Noreen, let me tell you, honey, there's been times. Now, Amy said it's the land and it's the house as well. There's been times where Tom and I, we've pulled up in the driveway and we can see like a black shadow, like they're walking around the house.
Oh my God.
And we just look at each other and we go, well, we're either going down to your dad's tonight or it looks like a hotel night. So yes, but this is where it's misleading. It draws you in. It's a real sickness, and this is where I was talking to George Lopez, and Andrea about this, and he was like, your story's very similar. You've got a lot of things that are in common with Andrea, because it pulls you in, and you'll feel comfort, and you'll fall in love with it again, or you get this passion about it.
But
and you can't wait to get home. Like, I'll be at work. I've been thinking about this damn house. Like, I can't wait to get home. I want to be in my house. I don't want to leave it.
Oh my God, really?
Oh yeah, there's depression. You'll cry.
Oh my
There's been times where when I get home from work, all I do is crawl in my bed and sleep from exhaustion.
Oh.
My husband will say, "Come on, get up. We're going. You're not being right. We're going to have breakfast and we're going for the day." And I'll say, "No, you go without me. I'm staying. I'm not leaving." It's like it's a yo-yo. It's one moment you can't wait to get out, and the next moment it gives you peace, so you can get rested just to get attacked again.
But okay, so now you've been scratched. The journalist that came to your house has been scratched.
Oh.
Has anybody else had any incidents like that in the house?
Oh, numerous. We had a gentleman come over to talk to us about our mutual funds, for about our savings and so forth. And we called this gentleman and this who works for, blah, blah, blah. And we said, "Hey, Archie, can you come out to the house? We'd like to talk to you about some investments." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Sure." He's never heard about us, never met us, never seen us, never anything. Within about 15, 20 minutes into the house, he's like yanking on his tie, and he's like, "Excuse me, I don't know what came over me." And I'm like, "Oh, here, let me get you a bottle of water. Here, are you okay?" "Well, I don't know what's coming over me. I'm starting to feel ill." And I'm like, "Well, here, let me get you a soda." And then, this poor man sitting here at the table, he's trying to do his business with us, and he's sweating profusely. Takes off his jacket. He's drenched. And he's like, "I apologize. I'm feeling ill. I have to leave. Excuse me." He's grabbing his paperwork. He's like, "I can't explain it. I apologize. I'm sorry. I gotta go. So sorry. We'll call you."
Wow.
I mean, I've had friends come over. You know, you try to live your life. I'm trying to have a purse party, trying to have a Mary Kay party. Those are all gone because I had a girlfriend over, and she started feeling something. She's like, "Oh, can I walk around your house? Will you show me your house?" And I'm like, "Okay, rule of thumb: don't address them, don't talk to them, don't indicate anything. Yes, I'll show you my home. Don't say nothing. You understand? I mean, that's the rule in my home. No instigating, no nothing." Well, she started to feel something because she says, "Oh my God, look at my arms. I got, all my goosebumps and so forth." She's like, "Feel me. Turn your camera on. Oh my gosh, you can feel it on my neck. Look, look, look." Well, here's this huge orb, and it was circling around her, circling.
Oh my God.
As it was circling, she's like, "It's on my arm. It's on my neck. Oh my God, I invite you to touch me." As soon as Julie said that, her whole back was scratched to the point to where blood was coming out of certain areas. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
So yes, we've had numerous people over, and some people can just come over and it's fine. But I'm telling you, 90% of the people that come over, they get a whole different story, and that's what is so comical about Katie and Chris. When they came over to the house, I opened up the door and she looked at me, and she's a beautiful woman, super sweet. Chris, he's amazing. But when she came in here, she just went, "Wow, this isn't what I was expecting." And I said, "Honey, what are you expecting?" She goes, "This doesn't look like a haunted house." And I said, "You've watched too much TV. Are you expecting cardboard boxes and a broken window out of the attic? Are you waiting for a bat to fly out of the ceiling? Are you looking for white sheets with cobwebs? No. This house is a house from hell, I assure you. Why don't you come in? Why don't you have a little time with me?" And within 5 to 10 minutes, it started. And as soon as that door shut, it was like, wow, we got us a new toy. Mhm.
Oh my God.
So
Oh,
it's very misleading. Very misleading.
I sure hope. I mean, I think you and I know the same people. I don't know who else to suggest for you except an exorcism.
No.
Now, there is somebody else that I can suggest to you. They do exorcisms on the houses and the people as well. And I'll shoot you off his name. And that's the only person.
Okay,
I mean, I know about Bill Bean and John Zaffis. I know all about them. But there is one more person that might be able to help you. He's a chief exorcist. So I'll send you the information, okay?
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
What a story, honey. I feel so bad for you. I really do. I can't even imagine what you're going through. I would probably I don't know what I would do. It's hard to say. I mean, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It's just horrible.
Let me tell you, it is bad, and I don't understand. Tom and I were just at our wits' end. We don't understand why. A lot of people have came forward. They've been blessings. We've had letters. We've had packages. We've had cards left on our porch. We've had numerous voicemails on our answering machine. But we're just at a point that we cannot let it get any worse. We're almost scared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've become a victim of our environment, and I don't care what people say. They say, "Oh, you have to be strong, and you have to do this."
Right.
Really?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You let me live in your home, and you please live here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would really be careful. I'm so sorry for you. As soon as I get off, I will send you over his information. Okay?
Thank you.
I will.
No, thank you. And oh my God, Noreen, thank you so much. I mean, one day I have got to meet you. I mean that. I really want to meet you one day.
Oh, thank you.
You're just such a delight.
Oh, honey, thank you so much. And like I said, I'm so sorry what you're going through, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
If there's anything else I can do for you,
I appreciate it.
I'd be more than happy to help you. Anytime you want to come back on the show, if there's anything you want to say, you're welcome to come back. Okay.
Thank you. That means more to me than you'll ever know. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're so dear. Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honey. And
you're welcome.
I'm hoping for a good evening for you. I don't know if they like when you do these interviews or not.
Oh no, there'll be some repercussion for it. But I just snuggle next to my husband and that poor man. What I put him through, I'll knock him, and we just my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate
dear.
it. Thank you, honey.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, honey.
Whoa. What a story. I really think Zach Bagans should go there. She's wonderful. Everybody pray for her. She pray for her. I feel so bad for her. Oh my gosh. Hey, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show. It was wonderful to have her. I'm so happy she accepted my invitation. And if anybody else knows anybody that could help her, send her a message. Send her the information. And please, all of you who there's so many people in the chat. I can't believe this. Would you all please subscribe to my channel? I'd really appreciate it. Let's see. As of today, I got over. I'm at like 503,000 views, which I'm so excited about. I just got to bring up my subscribership now. I'll be really happy. And listen, next week, let's see what we got next week. Next week we have, we're into March already. Okay, Rob Goutreau is coming back, and he's got some ghost stories to tell us. And then on March 10th, now I'm having a special show. That's Tuesday, March 10th. And Daryl Evans, Zozo, he's coming back. He's going to talk about the episode he did with Zach Bagans. And he's got some other information to tell us. Something new that he's discovered. And I'm really excited. He's my buddy, and I'm really excited to have him back. And then on Thursday that week of March 12th, I have Archbishop Ron Fale. Now, he's been on the show before, and he has talked about exorcisms. But guess what? He's going to come on the show, and he's going to talk about the horrific things that go on during his exorcism cases. And it's going to be a watch at your own risk. Because he's going to tell all. He told me that, and he goes, I'd be happy to, but you got to put up a warning, and so that should be very interesting. And on March 19th, Thursday, I have Mark Elliott Fultz coming, and we're going to talk about the Corpsewood murders, and that's in Georgia. And on the 26th, Thursday the 26th, Heather Creelan, we're going to do haunted dolls. She has haunted dolls, and they are truly haunted. They communicate, and I can't wait. She goes by Kat. So that's it for March. So everybody, I want to thank you so much for being with me here every week.